Welcome to the IBM 4700 printer service video. In the next 40 minutes or so, you'll learn procedures for effectively servicing and maintaining the IBM Model 4700 printers. Included are procedures for 4710, 4720, 4712, and 4722 printers. The video is designed so that you can view the entire course or just portions of it. Part 1 of the video includes general information about the 4700 branch banking family of products. Parts 2 through 5 covers FRU replacement procedures for the most commonly used parts. Let's start now with Part 1, General Information. IBM offers 4700 customers IBM On-Site Repair, or IOR. With prior training and documentation on hand, you'll be able to isolate failures to field replaceable units, FRUs, and replace them with minimum interruption to your customer at reduced parts cost the first time. Look in the service guide for 4712 and 4722 FRU removal and replacement procedures. You'll find similar instructions for models 4710 and 4720 in the repair manual. Here are the documents to provide you with complete service and maintenance information. Use the form numbers to order any of the documents. These are the 4712 and 4722 reference cards, handy pocket-sized cards containing operator information on ribbon loading and problem determination procedures. Use the accompanying form numbers to order copies. 4712 and 4722 teller training tapes are available. The tapes provide instruction in ribbon loading, jam removal, controls, and other operator functions. Tapes can be obtained by having your manager send a prof's note to hotline at CLTVM3. Be sure to provide a mailing address. The Industry Systems newsletter is distributed quarterly to branch offices and contains information on quality and service, new products, microcode, all that's going on in branch banking. If you're not receiving the newsletter, contact your manager. QZAR's narrative section is your way to communicate with 4700 engineers and builders in Charlotte. They want to ship equipment that is totally free of defects, but they need your help. If you have a repeat or unusual problem, by providing as much narrative as possible, it would help them analyze the failure and make a needed improvement. Yes, your narrative gets read. An engineer might even call you to get more detail. Another way to improve quality is the inspection of parts that are returned as defective from stock. For the 4700 printers, these parts are returned to Charlotte, where engineers inspect them thoroughly to determine what went wrong and how to fix it. Just as with QZAR, detailed feedback is important. And the Charlotte Quality Hotline, your 800 phone number to report quality problems with these printers and all Charlotte products. IBM has courses to help you become an expert 4700 customer engineer. Use the accompanying course code for specifics about each course or seminar. 4700 product training is an 18-hour FIS course, including an overview of the system, problem determination, system monitor, dump transmission via maintenance device, and 4701 repair. 4701 Models and Features is a technical awareness course that covers models and features made available after the initial product was released. 4702 Branch Automation Processor is a technical awareness course that explains differences between a 4701 and a 4702. In your repair manuals and service guides, you'll find symptom fix charts. These charts are designed to address machine failures. Keep in mind, however, that certain symptoms which may appear to be machine failures may actually be system failures. After a FRU is replaced, if your customer continues to experience the problem, such as the problem is probably not in the printer, and you should contact your next level of support before replacing multiple FRUs. In most cases, that level is the Field Support Center or your branch-designated support person. Any part that is installed and does not fix the problem should be removed and returned to stock. Remember to run the self-test after each screw replacement. This greatly reduces the possibility of two problems occurring simultaneously. Don't forget to protect yourself and your customer's environment when servicing equipment. Follow the safety and ESD guidelines in the repair manuals and service guides. You are now at the end of Part 1, General Information. You'll now see how to power on the 4710 and run a reset test. Part of the first 4710 diagnostic test, the reset test, runs and ends automatically after about 5 seconds. To run the test, plug the printer into an AC power source. Switch the printer to the on position. All operator indicator lights should immediately turn on and then off. A successful test is indicated when all lights are off. Finish the test by setting the power on-off switch to off. Insert a cut form in the print station and switch the power back on. Now the machine will run logic checkout tests and print 4 lines of test characters. There are 4 4710 offline tests. Here's a demonstration of test 1, or the 10 characters per inch cut form test. To select each offline test, use the diagnostic test switches as described on pages 2-5 of the 4710 repair manual. The 4710 print mechanism contains all moving parts of the machine, including the print head and the paper feed controls. The print mechanism is easily replaced and is significantly less costly than the element. Procedures for removing, replacing, and adjusting screws are in Chapter 3 of the 4710 repair manual. Here's a demonstration of how to replace the print unit. First, switch the printer to off. Now, remove the AC power plug. Pivot the ribbon cover open and remove the ribbon. Remove the top cover of the printer by resting the printer on its back and removing 3 screws. Next, return the printer to its normal position and lift off the top cover. Remove the ground screw, washer, and ground wire if present. You might need a Phillips screwdriver to remove the 3 screws from the print mechanism. Now, lift the print mechanism up and unplug connectors CN5, CN6, and CN7 from the bottom. This is a Stage 2 machine. On a Stage 1 machine, these connectors are labeled BP1, BP2, and BP3. Lift the print mechanism from the base of the printer. To replace the print mechanism, reverse the procedure. A foam pad is available to prevent paper clips and other objects from sliding underneath the logic board, causing shorts. The part numbers are 638-6434 for Stage 1 machines and 638-6433 for Stage 2s and Model 2s. You can repair a Stage 2 operator panel with a new overlay instead of replacing the entire panel assembly. The part number for the Model 1 is 638-6431 and 638-6432 for Model 2s. This is the end of Part 2. Just like the 4710, the 4720 printer automatically executes a series of internal tests. The power-on reset test runs and ends automatically after about 5 seconds and checks the following functions: power on, processor, storage, logic card, and printer mechanism, and terminal loop adapter. To run the test, plug the printer into an AC power source and switch the power to the on position. All operator indicator lights should immediately turn on and then off. A successful test is indicated when all lights remain off. The check light will flash for about 10 seconds to allow an operator to run the self-test. Next, you'll see how to perform a 4720 offline test. When any of the 4 test switches are set to a specified offline test configuration, the printer is placed in an inactive mode. Don't forget to set valid address and subaddresses in the address switch. Select an offline test by pressing either Start key labeled plus P1 or plus P2. The test ends automatically, or when the Stop key, labeled minus P, is pressed. Let's look at how to remove and replace the 4720 printhead. First, switch off the printer. Remove the AC power plug. Open the front cover. Move the printhead and carriage assembly to the extreme right. And remove the ribbon cartridge. Now, align the printhead to the mark on the platen and unplug the cable connector on the printhead. Carefully pull the printhead toward you until it stops. Now, slightly lift the end that you're holding. Push the printhead slightly forward and then lift it straight up. Check the ribbon shield for damage. If it is damaged, replace the ribbon shield. To replace the printhead, guide the tip of the printhead onto the mounting rods. Pull the printhead toward the front of the printer. Lower the printhead and allow it to move away from you onto the locking rods. Plug the cable connector onto the printhead. Before you replace the ribbon cartridge, move the printhead all the way to the right. Now, replace the cartridge. Close the front cover. Connect the AC power plug. Switch the power on and test. Here's a 4720 service tip. If you must replace the logic card, transfer the jumper from the old card to the new one. A jumper on the logic card tells the logic that 4720 will operate in the passbook mode. This is the end of Part 3. There are two types of diagnostic tests for the 4712, the power-on test and the printer self-tests. To run the power-on test, plug the printer into an AC power source and switch it on. All operator indicator lights should immediately turn on and then off, and the power-on light should remain on. The test runs and ends automatically after about 5 seconds. A successful test is indicated when the power-on indicator light and the ready indicator is on continuously, and all other lights remain off. The ready indicator does not light if your printer is set to print on cut forms only. The 4712 self-tests are started by switching on the printer while pressing one or more of the operator panel keys. Details can be found in Chapter 2 of the 4712 Service Guide. Now you'll see how to replace a 4712 printhead. To remove the printhead, switch the printer off. Open the ribbon cover by holding it on both sides and tilting it towards the front of the machine. The ribbon cover may be removed completely by using long-nosed pliers to take off the hinge retainers. To remove the rear cover, first remove the journal cover. Hold the cover at the sides and tilt the rear upwards. With the cover slightly open, push the cover away from the machine and slip the guide pins from the guide slots. Now lift the cover away from the printer. Remove the ribbon. Remove the ribbon shield. Press on both sides of the ribbon shield to remove it. Move the printhead to the left side of the printer. Now, unplug the J3 connector. Next, slide a screwdriver under the cable near the 3 retaining clips. As you do this, the cable will pull free from the clips. Facing the front of the printer, place the screwdriver under the printhead where the flat cable attaches. Pry or twist the screwdriver, and the printhead will snap free of the carrier. To install the new printhead, simply press it onto the carrier until it snaps into position. Install the cable under the 3 retaining clips. And plug in the J3 connector. Next, perform the printhead to platen adjustment. To do this, temporarily bypass the cover open sensor by using a piece of paper that's large and heavy enough to completely block the sensor. Now, switch the printer on. Check to see that the printhead moves to the left side of the platen. The throat should close by itself. Switch the printer off and remove the platen gap adjustment tool from under the journal take-up pressure spring. Clip the gap adjustment tool on the left end of the platen. The tapered edge of the tool faces forward toward the front of the printer. Now align the printhead nose at the center of the tool. Push the hopper back and let the throat close again. The printhead nose should just contact the tool. Slide the tool along the platen and away from the printhead. The head should just touch the gauge. Should you need to adjust the platen, loosen the carriage rod hex head screw just enough to move the rod. Moving the rod either toward or away from the platen, make your adjustment. Tighten the carriage screw. Next, repeat the adjustment procedure with the printhead at the right end of the platen, using the hex head screw on the right side of the printer. Clip the tool under the take-up pressure spring. Open the throat and replace the ribbon shield, making sure it snaps in place. Replace the ribbon cartridge. Then, remove the paper from the cover-open sensor. Now, let's take a look at how to remove and replace the print mechanism and the hopper. Move the printhead so it's midway along the print line. Remove the 3 mounting screws. Use a 7/32 wrench. Disconnect connectors J3 and W1 through W9. Make note of connector locations for reinstallation. Carefully lift the printer and hopper assembly from the base. Take care not to damage the static clip and keep the hopper springs nearby. If you must replace a print mechanism, remove the printhead from the old print mechanism and install it on the new one. A new print mechanism does not include a new printhead. To replace the printer and hopper assembly, reverse the procedure. Check to see the logic board screen is positioned correctly. And make sure to replace the hopper springs under the hopper and in the spring holes in the base. After you replace the screws, push the hopper down and release it to ensure the hopper returns to its normal position. Check to see that the static clip is in place and in good contact with the printed circuit board ground pad. Congratulations! You've just learned to remove and replace the 4712 print mechanism and hopper. Now let's see how to replace a 4712 printed circuit board. To replace the circuit board, unplug all connectors on the board. And remove the communication adapter. Place the printer on its side. Remove the 6 mounting screws from the lower cover. And remove the cover. Remove the printed circuit board from the base assembly. To replace the printed circuit board, reverse the procedure, taking care not to dislodge the power switch. A field upgrade kit is available to bring machines manufactured before December 1988 up to current levels. The part number is 42F7505. If a kit has already been installed, you'll see a screen over the printed circuit board. The screen prevents paper clips and staples from shorting out the board. And bill of material part number 00G0000 is available to prevent the communication adapter from being pulled loose. The bill of material contains locking screws and labels for 12 machines. Printing on staples or paper clips, or pulling a form from the printer with the throat closed, can dislodge the paper guide, resulting in jams, broken print wires, and damaged ribbon shields. Bill of Material 00G0001 contains a new, stronger paper guide and a new ribbon shield, and will correct the problem. Use service code 33. Make sure you have the latest service guide. The form number for this guide is SC31-3771. Chapter 6 contains operational tips for certain 4712 problems. This is the end of Part 4. There are 2 types of diagnostic tests for the 4722 printer. Let's begin with power on. The power on test runs and ends automatically after about 5 seconds each time the printer is switched on. It checks various internal functions. To run the test, switch the printer on. All operator indicator lights should immediately turn on and then off. A successful test is indicated when the power on indicator is on continuously and all other lights remain off. Each of the 5 self-tests are begun by switching the printer on while pressing one or more of the operator panel keys. These instructions are described in Chapter 2 of the 4722 Service Guide. To remove the covers, switch off the printer and remove the AC power plug. Now, open and remove the front cover by placing the front of the machine at the edge of a desk or table. Push in on the 2 front cover release buttons and then swing the cover away from the printer. Disconnect connector J4. Unlatch and remove the 2 hinge pins. Next, remove the top cover by pressing and holding the 2 top cover latches. Then, slide the top cover towards the back. Gently spread the sides of the cover so it clears the stops at the rear of the machine. Here are the major FRUs of the 4722. They are the printer drive, feed assembly, print head, and printed circuit board. The Model 3 also includes an encoder assembly. Chapter 5 of the Service Guide explains screw removal, replacement, and adjustment procedures. Before attempting to replace the printhead, make sure you have the correct part number. Models 1 and 3 use a different printhead than Model 2. We'll use a Model 1 printhead in this demonstration. To remove the printhead, first turn the printhead drive gear to center it. Next, pivot the print drive mechanism to the rear. Remove the ribbon shield and the ribbon cartridge. Then, remove the printhead cable from the cable guide. Hold the printhead with one hand. Then, press and hold the latch toward the rear of the printer to unlatch the printhead. To reinstall, make sure that it snaps firmly back into place. Whenever you replace a printhead, printer drive assembly, or form feed assembly, you need to check the printhead to platen adjustment and adjust if necessary. The first step in making that adjustment is to move the form thickness lever to the rear. Move the printhead all the way to the left by turning the drive motor gear. Now, turn the gear about 1/3 of a turn in the opposite direction. Now, loosen the left platen clamp screw. Next, place a 28/1000 feeler gauge between the platen and the nose of the printhead. Remember that in this demonstration, we're using a Model 1 4722 printer. Models 1 and 3 have a roller at the nose of the printhead. Make sure the gauge is under the nose of the printhead and not under the roller. Now, move the printhead all the way to the right by turning the printhead drive motor gear. And return the head to the left by turning the drive motor gear about 1/3 of a turn in the opposite direction. Loosen the right platen clamp screw. Just like you did on the left side, place a 28/1000 feeler gauge between the platen and the nose of the printhead. And tighten the right platen clamp screw. Now, to make sure the platen gap is within the correct tolerance range, move a 25/1000 feeler gauge between the printhead and the platen. There should be no drag on the gauge. Then, place a 31/1000 feeler gauge on the platen. Attempt to move it between the platen and printhead nose. It should not fit into the gap. Make sure the spring-loaded platen isn't being deflected. Repeat this tolerance check at both the left and right side of the platen. If either check fails, readjust the gap. Now replace the ribbon cartridge. And the ribbon shield. Congratulations! You've just removed and replaced the 4722 printhead. Let's see a demonstration of first how to remove and then how to replace the 4722 print assembly. Remove the assembly by disconnecting connectors J3, W3, W4, W6, W7, and W8. Place the form thickness lever at the center position. Remove the mounting screws and related parts using a 7/32 wrench. Lift up on the forward part of the printer assembly, and then slide the assembly toward you and lift it from the base assembly. Take care not to damage the form thickness lever. If the printer has washers under the two front grommets, save them for reassembly. Next, we'll separate the printer drive assembly from the form feed assembly. Remove the printer drive motor cable from the cable clamp. Now, press the latch and swing the print unit to the rear. Remove the C-clip next to the form thickness lever. And then remove the thickness lever. Remove the left C-clip from the eccentric shaft. Then, remove the right C-clip. Carefully grasp the tab of the eccentric shaft bushing with long-nosed pliers and pull out the bushing. If the bushing does not come out easily, turn the shaft as you pull it out. Align the eccentric shaft with the hole in the side plate and remove it. Save it for use on a new print mechanism. Now, separate the print drive assembly from the form feed assembly. Reverse the procedure to replace the printer and feed assembly. If you need to replace a print mechanism, remove the print head from the old print mechanism and install it on the new one. A new print mechanism does not include a new print head. To remove the printed circuit board, first take off the communication adapter. Now, remove the printer assembly according to the procedure you just watched. Third, remove the protective screen and remove the 3 retaining screws. Press the 3 circuit board retainer latches. And carefully lift and remove the printed circuit board. To replace the printed circuit board, reverse the procedure. Make sure your screen and ground clip are in position. The 4722 features 3 types of communications adapters: serial and parallel, compatible with IBM PCs and PS2s, and B-loop. B-loop is used for the IBM 4701 controller and 4702 processor. The serial adapter has a maximum cable length of 50 feet. It requires installation of a device driver on the host system. The parallel adapter, on the other hand, has a maximum cable length of 6.5 feet. Here's some additional service information about the 4722 printer. Field upgrade kits are available to bring machines manufactured before November 1989 up to current levels. The part numbers are 61F2912 for the Model 1 and 61F2919 for the Model 2. If a kit has already been installed, you'll see a screen over the printed circuit board, just like the 4712. The screen prevents staples and paper clips from shorting out the board. The 4722 serial number is located inside the front cover on the lower base assembly, just left of center. A 4722 with an RPQ installed can emulate a 3611. Identify the RPQ by checking for part number 932240 on the communication card label, or by checking the self-test printout, which will indicate a B-loop level of 77. This is the end of Part 5 and the conclusion of the 4700 printer service video. You've just seen replacement procedures for frequently replaced screws, service tips, and general information that will help you service the printers quickly, cost-effectively, the first time.